Yasuyo. Thank you so much for joining me today to talk about your journey of foster care and adoption. This is National Foster Care Month, so we wanted to honor the families that make that choice and the children that are loved and cared for in the families, as well as the families that are considering entering into the journey of fostering. So if you could tell us how you got curious about foster care and how you started.
Thank you for having us, Robin.
Sure.
Well, our journey to foster care started years back when the doctor told us that we weren't able to have children of our own. Now, we love kids and want to bring some into our family, so we looked at different options. We looked at international adoption and U.S. infant adoption. And after much thought and prayer, we just really didn't feel either of those were the right option for us. Now, with foster care, we know there's the possibility that the child will go back to their birth family or relative. In fact, in many places, that's usually the specific goal once they are in foster care. But we felt that was the right choice for us, and we were willing to put our hearts on that risk and to bring a child into our home that way.
Yeah, a lot of families feel anxious about that kind of grief that they would experience if they really attached, really spend time connecting with these kids, that it would hurt so much when and if they get to go home. So, Yasuyo, can you speak to that, how you handled that, taking that risk?
Yeah, it's always up and down, but I think the business in our life and managing and handling their behavior. I think I didn't have much time to think about sending them back to home. Just when they are staying longer, then when the court is getting closer to determine their permanency, then I started thinking that, oh, there is coming. So.
Yeah, it is definitely a great risk to love anyone, right? But it is so worth it. And you two have exemplified people that are very committed to the children that come in your home, as well as to the birth parents. And I would love it if you could speak to how you have learned and grown from your commitment to serve families. Would either of you like to speak to that?
Sure. As we go through ordinary life, just as people living in society, we look to those people who are in our own circles, our own neighborhoods, our own coworkers, people who are generally in a similar situation to our own. But just going to the training of foster care, and then finally taking the jump into it and meeting and interacting with birth families, it opens your eyes to new groups in society that we were almost blind to before. And maybe that's the saddest thing, that we are blind to those people in society who are less fortunate than ourselves. And we care about the kids, but what about the parents, the families, the siblings? Everyone involved in that child's life goes through a similar trauma when that child is removed from the home, regardless of the reasons for the removal. And if we care so much about these kids, why shouldn't we care something about their parents and their families, who are, of course, kids once themselves? So let's be honest, the relationship with birth families can get a little difficult at times, and there's involved there. Interpersonal relationships generally can get difficult in life, but it's worth giving outside of yourself for something that's something that matters.
That's beautifully said. I would love to hear from your perspective too, Yasuyo, because I know I've had the privilege of inviting both of you come to a training that I did on birth families and visit coaching connections, like helping foster parents understand and have compassion for the birth parents. And you came, and both of you, and you spoke so beautifully to the personal growth you experienced in opening your mind, like you said, Adam, to seeing people that you didn't think about as much before, and having the understanding and care that families are often generationally traumatized. And so if you have compassion for the child, let's extend that to the parents who are in very vulnerable situations and who love their kids and want their children back. So yeah, if you could share some of your things that you've learned, Yasuyo.
Okay, I think for me it was really helpful and such a blessing to receive the training through Salvation Army and about the biological parent situation. I think you, Robin, invited the one birth parents and adoptive parents and let them talk together, and we were listening to it. And that really helped me to understand that they are really struggling more than I expected. And I really felt so when I saw our adoptive son's mother, and she was also in foster care almost till she was 18 years old. Then I also got to know her parents, and I could see that why and how her current situation was made. And if I really felt sympathy, and I was really felt sorry that I was judging that. We cannot say that. It's easy to say that you did a wrong choice, but she said that she knew that she made a wrong choice. Then so there was a difficult time to communicate, but I feel like at least we should understand her situation. That isn't easier than we think.
And I think it's really important for people to know that are entering into foster care how much it means to birth parents to be valued, to be seen by them, to be asked, like, what does your child need, and how can we serve this little one with you in mind too. And children almost always benefit by that connection, because it shows them that they have this two families on their team. And it helps everyone get along better and helps the children adjust better. But it is tricky to navigate, and I appreciate when families do make the effort. Sometimes it's not the right thing, but it almost always is a benefit for all parties involved. So thank you for having so much candor about what you've had to go through to come to that decision, because it is hard. It's the struggle. I know that with the trainings that we also do with trust-based relational intervention really helps parents understand the need of a child, the need behind the behavior, and it also opens our eyes to what's gone on in our lives and what's our history and how it impacts our parenting. But it broadens our compassion for everyone, including ourselves. So if you could share, maybe in light of how fostering and adopting has impacted your life, maybe if you could touch down on some of those principles that you learned that have really helped you navigate the challenges of fostering.
Well, Tbri helped us so much from the beginning. This is silly, but neither of us had experience parenting. Yasuyo had more experience with kids than I did, so it gave us a way to approach, taking care and just handling the redirecting, the guidance aspect of parenting, the discipline. But beyond that, Tbri is fantastic because it looks what's underlies the behaviors that that get under our skin so much. Children who've been through the foster care system, they've been through trauma, they've been to hard places, sometimes unlike anything that we've ever experienced ourselves. And they don't have they deal with the world in an entirely different way than a grown-up does. They don't have the same, intellectual resources, the maturity, they just see it differently. And it comes out in behaviors that are sometimes very challenging to deal with. And what Tbri does is it helps us to not just come at the child and to discipline A, B, and C, punish A, B, and C to try to drive it out of them, but to help to find what the child really needs and address that, so that they eventually learn to grow beyond those behaviors.
That's well said. Thank you. How about you, Yasuyo?
I just remember that first time that we received that training from you, and TBRI is so different from how I was disciplined. Yes, I mean, and I think my parents was saying that you have to do it because I say so. And I would like to say that, but I can't because it doesn't work. And it was really that, but TBRI was really helpful, especially the playful approach.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel sometimes it's not easy to be playful because I have to come down first. Then being playful, and I'm not really playful person either. So I have to I'm a different person. And okay, I will play it. And I do what I can think of, and it worked well. And at least he stopped crying or he stopped screaming, and how can I say that? And the situation turned better instead of feeling guilty later for me.
And it builds that relationship with the child. That's the important thing. It builds a connection with them so that they don't feel safe about life. They've been through, trauma, and they don't feel safe. This builds relationships so they can learn to trust their current circumstances in your family, in your home. That's important.
Right. And even this morning, I was being playful, really trying hard. And it worked. And he said that, oh, I like staying with you. You're the best mommy. And I was like, oh, yeah.
Oh,
It was good to be silly.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful. I think that is wonderfully said. I love that about you. We are faced with a challenge when we have children that come from hard places. How do we connect with them when they don't really know how to connect many times? And we learn that the playfulness really disarms the fear that we see in their behaviors. And I remember the very first placement you had in your home, Yasuyo, and I was invited to go to the house to support you at that time. And I knew from that moment on that you and your husband would be just right for this challenging but beautiful work, because when that little boy was really struggling, very afraid, crying, he was laying down on the floor, and you got down with him and laid your head on the side, just looking at him and comforting him. And I think you guys have learned so much about how to be really present with the child and comfort them, but also to celebrate them with joy and delight. And we see that with your son, and a child is truly blessed coming in your home. So thank you for that. I guess it would be great if you could just say some advice to families that are considering fostering, and maybe to some families who are weary and need a little bit of encouragement.
Well, I just remember that I was going through organizing my email the other day, and I found one email that one of foster moms sent me after our first foster son left our place. And it was a difficult time. And in her email, she wrote like, the love that we shared is always with him and it's not wasted. And it those words, I think that right after he left, it wasn't really encouraging, but as time went, I started understanding that it's true, and it really, in my heart. So I think it's not wasting though they left.
That's great. How about you, Adam? Can you finish with something that you would encourage fathers in particular that might be, sometimes the wives are the ones sort of dragging fathers along into the process. Can you speak to fathers that might be feeling cautious?
Well, it's absolutely worth it because you're pouring into the lives of not only these kids but also their biological family. You're having a huge effect, much greater effect than you could probably have in just about any other relationship on these individuals, especially the kids. And life is more than doing things according to your plan. In fact, when you jump into foster care, things never go according to plan. It works out. Things are always a bit chaotic, whether it's let's be honest here, dealing with the court system, the different things that just pop up along the way. You never know what you're going to expect. Our son, whom we adopted, he was with us in foster care for 3 years before we adopted him. And when he was placed with us, they told us that he'd be with us 2 weeks. And it's a roller coaster ride. It is, but this is what life is really supposed to be about.
Thank you. Your family is so appreciated. We love you so much. You are a gift to us. And I just pray blessings upon you. Thank you for taking time to talk to us all today. I'm sure it'll be an encouragement to many who watch. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.